The airport terminal buzzed with activity as passengers hurried through security, glanced anxiously at their watches, and lined up impatiently to board their flights. Amid this familiar chaos stood Evelyn Thompson, an elderly woman whose gray hair was neatly tucked beneath a modest hat. Her frail hands gripped a small, worn purse, and she clutched her boarding pass with a slight tremble. Evelyn wasn't wealthy or notable, just another ordinary traveler among hundreds. Approaching the airline counter with a gentle smile, Evelyn spoke softly. "Excuse me, dear, I believe there's been a mistake. I was promised a seat in first class." The young attendant barely glanced up, her fingers swiftly tapping on the keyboard. "Your ticket says economy, ma'am. If there were an upgrade, it would show here." Evelyn hesitated, her heart dropping. She hadn't sought luxury or special privileges. She merely trusted the promise made to her earlier. Nearby, a sharply dressed businessman, Ethan Miles, rolled his eyes and scoffed loudly. "Come on, lady, we all paid for first class. You don't get upgraded just because you ask nicely." A murmur of agreement rippled among the waiting passengers. Evelyn lowered her eyes and whispered softly, "I understand." She tightened her grip on her purse and quietly moved forward when the attendant waved her on dismissively. Evelyn slowly walked through the jet bridge and found her cramped economy seat, squeezed between two restless travelers. Settling in with quiet dignity, she adjusted her hat and smiled faintly. She wouldn't complain. She never did. Just as passengers finished boarding, the intercom crackled to life. A clear, authoritative voice filled the cabin. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Before departure, there has been an unexpected change in seating arrangements." Curious passengers glanced around, confused by the announcement. The captain continued, his voice calm and assured. "Would Mrs. Evelyn Thompson please come to the front of the aircraft?" Stunned, Evelyn looked up, unsure if she had heard correctly. A flight attendant appeared by her seat with a warm smile. "Mrs. Thompson, the captain would like you to join him in the first-class cabin." Passengers exchanged curious glances, whispering amongst themselves. Ethan Miles, who had previously scoffed at Evelyn, sat straighter, his arrogant smirk disappearing quickly. With hesitation, Evelyn stood up and slowly made her way forward, feeling every eye follow her movements. When the curtain separating economy from first class parted, Evelyn saw a different world, luxurious, spacious seats that seemed miles away from where she'd just been seated. Then the cockpit door opened. Captain Jason Hartley stepped out, removing his pilot's hat respectfully. He looked directly at Evelyn, his eyes filled with deep appreciation. "Mrs. Thompson," he said gently, emotion evident in his steady voice, "I've been waiting a long time to meet you." Evelyn frowned slightly, confused. "I'm sorry, dear, do I know you?" Captain Hartley smiled warmly. "No, ma'am, but you knew my mother." Passengers leaned forward in curiosity as Evelyn's eyes widened. "Your mother?" He nodded solemnly. "Her name was Clara Bennett. Because of your kindness, she received a second chance at life." Evelyn's memory raced back decades to a cold, rainy night in the city. A young woman, Clara, sat alone on a bench, trembling in the harsh weather. Evelyn had approached her, offered help, bought her a warm meal, and secured her a safe place to stay for the night. She had given Clara simple but profound advice. When you get back on your feet, please do the same for someone else. Captain Hartley knelt respectfully by Evelyn's seat, speaking softly but clearly. "My mother never forgot your kindness. She returned to school, became a dedicated teacher, built a life filled with purpose, and taught me the importance of paying forward every kindness received." Tears welled in Evelyn's eyes. She had acted out of compassion, never expecting recognition or repayment, especially not now, thousands of feet above the earth. Captain Hartley stood and addressed the entire cabin with dignity. "Today, it is my privilege to honor the kindness my mother once received. Mrs. Thompson will be our special guest in first class for the remainder of this flight." A humbled silence fell upon the passengers. Ethan Miles shifted uncomfortably, suddenly reflective, while others who had dismissed Evelyn now lowered their eyes in quiet embarrassment. Evelyn, overwhelmed, gently shook her head. "Oh dear, I couldn't possibly." Captain Hartley gently placed his pilot hat into her hands, saying tenderly, "My mother would have wanted this." For once, Evelyn allowed herself to embrace kindness fully. As she settled into her comfortable first-class seat, a newfound warmth spread through the cabin. Passengers who previously overlooked her now regarded Evelyn with genuine admiration. Ethan Miles cleared his throat, embarrassment coloring his voice. "I misjudged you," he admitted sincerely. "I was wrong." Evelyn smiled kindly. "It's never too late to see things differently, dear." Nearby, a young mother cradling her sleeping child spoke softly. "I want my daughter to grow up knowing people like you exist." Evelyn chuckled gently, her voice wise with age. "Kindness is everywhere, sweetheart. We only need to notice it." Ethan Miles, moved by newfound humility, reached into his wallet, quickly scribbled on a check, and handed it discreetly to the flight attendant. "Please make this donation in Mrs. Thompson's honor," he requested quietly. Evelyn discreetly wiped a tear from her eye. She didn't need accolades or comfort. The quiet gratitude of those around her meant far more. As the plane landed, Evelyn held the pilot's hat tightly, walking toward the exit door. Suddenly, spontaneous applause filled the cabin. Passengers who had barely acknowledged her before now clapped respectfully, not because she demanded recognition, but because she truly deserved it. Stepping into the terminal, Evelyn smiled to herself, understanding profoundly that kindness never disappears. It merely finds its way back to us, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. If this story touched your heart, share your own experiences of kindness in the comments below. Let's remind each other that kindness is a gift worth giving, as it will always find its way home.